WWBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I got to say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are off. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, your host extraordinaire. Some would argue Donald Sterling's least favorite host. Okay, maybe a little too...
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. This is definitely one of those son of a boop boop kind of days, that's for sure. I don't know. It's a combination of the allergies and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm here. I'm fighting. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Lucas the intern will come in at some point for the hot tag. We'll see. But Nick's here. He's pushing buttons, turning dials, and talking about who knows what we're going to talk about. We've got a pay-per-view tomorrow. That's a thing. Payback. Not the James Brown song of the same name from back in 72 or whatever it was, 71. No. This is the Payback WWE pay-per-view. One of two in the upcoming month, as this is the last day in the month of May. And for June, two pay-per-views in the month. One tomorrow, the 1st, and the other 4 weeks later on the 29th, WWE's Money in the Bank.
Sorry.
That one wasn't a joke.
I know it wasn't a joke.
Well, what's funny about it?
Just that he lost so much money at one time, and
Oh, yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Money in the bank.
Oh, okay.
That's why I saw the humor in it.
That's next level thinking. Speaking of that, I'll give you a WWE stock update for those of you clinging on to your ever few shares. WWE stock actually went up.
Good.
11 cents a share over the course of the week. So it's back to just over the total that it was after the monumental collapse 2 weeks and a day ago.
That's good.
At $11.
I make a lot of jokes, but I don't like to see anything fail. I really don't. I mean,
so you were rooting for the World Bodybuilding Federation some
yeah, right.
some 20 years ago, or 23 now, something like that?
Why is Mr. America always a bodybuilder? Miss America's not. I lay awake nights wondering about that.
I think a lot of men, I'm going to give you a serious answer to this, I think a lot of men are intimidated by women with muscle.
Yeah, I am. What do I want a little woman to beat my butt? You know? Or at least give me a run for the money.
I was going to say, some might be into that sort of thing.
That's later. I mean, darn, Mike was still on. No, years ago, wrestlers were not bodybuilders. Now you see a lot of them are, early punching.
Yeah, there's a lot of, influence with that. Yeah, no, that's something that's become big really over the last, 25 years, I guess.
Superstar Billy Graham was one of the first.
Yeah, Superstar Billy Graham was up there.
Tony Atlas.
Later
on, Rocky Johnson got a little more into it.
Yeah, and even you go into the 80s, I mean, the look that you see now,
right.
A lot of that started with, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Right, and Rick Martel, the model. And,
oh, gosh, yeah.
Dino Bravo.
You look at the model Rick Martel from, from 91 as opposed to after the steroid trials in 92. Yeah, it's certainly a comparison to say the least. But it seems like, over the course of the last 15, 20 years, there's just been this increase in looking at bodies. Everybody's got it's almost like the World Bodybuilding Federation has moved its way over into the wrestling organization.
Yes.
So
even Ivan Putski.
When Polish Power.
Yeah, when he first became a wrestler, he was just a big guy with a rather large stomach, and then he went on a real weight reducing thing and a muscle building thing, and he looked really good. So.
I feel like every time I mention Ivan Putski, that's usually where Denny comes in and drops his usual joke, something about Putowski. Because that's about all he's got as far as the world of wrestling.
Or as Fred Blassie used to say, Ivan Putski.
Putski. Oh, that's another good one.
I didn't make that one. I was classy Ivan Putski.
Yeah, that's... back when you could get away with saying those things back then.
He could say a lot of stuff. He even told Tony Atlas to shine my shoes, boy, and stuff like that, and.
Well, that's something else that I do want to say thankfully has disappeared. I mean, wrestling always has, and to a degree always will be, based on stereotypes, but there are some that just shouldn't. The line is kind of skewed over the last 25 years, I'd say.
I guess, yeah.
I mean,
this is way back, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look in. I keep going back to the early '90s, but even then, you had, things like Saba Simba. That was Tony Atlas's character. The Orient Express with the chopsticks-esque theme that they had going on.
Years ago, anybody with an Oriental look was a karate expert automatically. They use karate to win sometimes.
Even the Hawaiian Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes, and Dean Ho. I mean, anybody with an Oriental look would be, they'd use karate eventually if they were enraged, And now it's Native American, but Chief Jay Strongbow was an Indian, and he always did a war dance. He's no more an Indian than I'm an astronaut, but,
Well, you have your Space Cadet moments.
Huh? Oh, thank you. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if you're necessarily Tony Nelson, but...
I like Ricky Nelson. Does that count?
Oh, there you go.
We're Nelson Rockefeller.
I was going to say, time to go to the garden party?
I went to high school with a guy named Nelson Coleman. Does that count?
Wow.
We'll get into the Nelson thing. I'm into the get ready, full Nelson.
Gosh, these one-liners are Jerry Lawler bad.
Oh, thank you very much. Jerry
I'm head in hand at this point. I don't even know where to begin. Let me tell you, actually, I kind of joke that it's weird. There's a lot going on, but there's not a lot going on at the same time.
Right.
I mentioned the WWE pay-per-view. I'll have my predictions certain to go wrong, and by proxy, Lucas's, because he gave them to me ahead of time, because he may or may not be here. Not sure yet. But tonight actually is a night I'm really looking forward to. And
why is that?
Well, not only because I'm going to get a full night's sleep for the first time, and I can't tell you how long.
That's Pro Wrestling Weekly for this week, folks.
Exactly.
Does he know how to fill airtime, or what?
Just a sleep.
You are my idol.
A sleep-deprived mess.
You're my hero.
No, all jokes aside.
That's show prep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
Go sleep.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun, especially if you're heading down to the Monster Factory over in Paulsboro, New Jersey, 541 Mantua Avenue. A huge Ring of Honor influence tonight. Monster Factory heavyweight champion Brutal Joe Gibson taking on Ring of Honor star Brutal Bob Evans. And as if the Battle of Brutality wasn't enough, because they are both rather brutal.
This is going to be... Oh, no, you know how you got to jump in on that. I was going to say, this is going to be get ready. Brutal. But no, you just had to Well,
you know what? Lucas isn't here to pull the rug out on these things, so I'm taking over in his stead.
Jeez. I was really self.
I know. It's the very thing that I ripped him for last week, and here I am doing the same thing.
It got me, Go ahead.
That's what I get for not taking my Adderall. As if the Battle of Brutality wasn't enough, it'll be in a 60-minute Iron Man match. So the most falls after 60 minutes will be the winner.
60 minutes?
60 minutes.
60
yeah.
minutes?
I know. How's that for a throwback?
Sounds like some of the fights I had with my ex-wife, 60 minutes, we could make a TV show out of that. 60 minutes. Think it would work?
I don't know how well it'd do.
Really, yeah.
No clue.
Minutes? Wow, that's
yeah. It's seldom been done.
Remember when do they have any more tag teams like 2 out of 3 falls? I haven't seen that in years. Am I wrong about this?
No, you're right. That is something that is seldom done anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty much every match is, with a few exceptions, are scheduled for 1 fall, and that is it.
Right.
But 2 out of 3 falls is something that it kind of phased out in the late 80s, early 90s, at least in the WWF.
I think because, in part, it probably, became predictable in wrestling. And, no, but seriously, you always had the one team winning one, then another team, then... you, of course, waited to see who would win the third one. Mm-hmm. But it was always 1-1. They never took the first two in a row,
Sometimes. Very rarely. Okay, yeah, it was rare.
You're right.
You're right.
Very rarely.
But as if that, well, I was going to say, probably the most notable 60-minute Iron Man match. I'll throw a little trivia your way. Do you have any inkling on that?
Not a clue.
Lucas, if he's listening in the car, is probably yelling at it. Probably the most notable would be from WrestleMania 12 back in 1996. Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels. It went to sudden death overtime as there were no falls after the 60 minutes, and Michaels ended up winning in a little over 2 minutes afterward.
Did he cheat?
No, he hit his finisher, Sweet Chin Music, pinned Bret Hart, and for the first time won the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Okay. That was when the boyhood dream became a reality. Well, that was the whole build-up leading to it. He was,
I love it.
Started watching wrestling at 12 and trained to be a champion. And then by that point he had to have been 30, I want to say. Finally, got to the top of the mountain in a sense. It was a great story.
It is.
I went nuts for it. But I was like,
I like it. That's what you just told me. I like it. Yeah.
But back to the Monster Factory, as if. The Iron Man match, that's one of the great matches. It'll also be an over-the-top rope battle royal for the final spot. This is where it gets a little convoluted, but stick with me. For the final spot in a 4-way elimination match. And the winner of that elimination match will earn a title shot at the next Monster Factory show on June 21st.
Go on, really?
Yeah, so there's a battle royal that will lead to one spot in a 4-way elimination match, and Now, the catch to the Battle Royal is the last two competitors in the Battle Royal will face off one-on-one, where the only way to advance is by pinfall or submission. So you have to survive the Battle Royal, be one of the last two, pin that person. That gets you a berth into the 4-way. And then if you win that, you get a title shot at the next event.
You got to eat all your spinach, too.
I'm sure they probably will. Right. The other three members of the 4-way elimination match, Rhett Titus, Mike Reed, and QT Marshall.
QT?
The letter Q, the letter T, yes.
Okay.
Also,
QT, I like that, yeah.
Also, AC Rock defends the tag titles against Ring of Honor stars Team Benchmark. Haven't seen Team Benchmark before. Looking forward to that. And Major McClendon will defend his Supersonic Championship against the pride of Paulsboro, Anthony Bennett.
Oh, wow. I've heard of him.
Well, of course, he's the pride of Paulsboro.
Right, of course. It's a real garden spot of the world. I mean, Paulsboro, New Jersey, yeah.
Plus, in the house will be special
For those
guests.
who thought Croydon was the most important place in the world, right?
Let me get through this. Man, the kid I expect this
You're making this too easy for me.
Fair enough.
Go ahead.
Plus, in the house will be special guest Ring of Honor announcer Kevin Kelly, who also worked for WWE back in the late 90s. Sadly, I remember him getting incessantly insulted by The Rock, and that's as far as I'll take that without getting into some possible trouble. We'll leave it at that. The doors open at 6 o'clock tonight. Bell time is 7 o'clock. Tickets just $20 for adults, $10 for kids under the age of 12. Monster Factory Pro Wrestling, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro. That's tonight. And for more info, check them out at monsterfactory.org. Be sure to look for me down there. I'll be the guy with the rather wild afro.
All right.
Almost, I guess, Alpha of the Wild Samoans-esque. Or was it Sika?
That doesn't matter.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Samoan 1 and Samoan 2. They didn't have names at first,
This is true.
Yes. The mother named it, hey, you're Samoan 1, you're Samoan 2. And finally gave them names.
Yeah.
Sika. Actually, I wouldn't want to be named Sika. She was a porn star. Seriously.
I will defer to your knowledge on that, as I have no knowledge whatsoever.
Sure he doesn't, folks.
Who in the... I'll have to look that up over the break. Yeah, because I have no idea.
And he can't wait. Go ahead.
I wouldn't go that far. All right, let's take care of some business. We'll get to Ed on the other side. Got a timeout here. Also, we'll talk about on the other side, Wrestling with Disaster. That's coming up in a couple weeks. Tell you all about that, an updated lineup card. Also, a Von Erich update. as well as CM Punk commenting on being retired at 35.
Huh.
So maybe we have
I envy CM Punk.
You haven't seen his fiancée.
I haven't.
Oh, maybe you have. I don't know. AJ Lee?
Sounds familiar.
Well, yeah, she's the WWE diva that Lucas has been gushing over for
I know you mean
forever.
now. I know you mean now, yes.
Yeah.
It's financier, okay.
Yeah, his financier.
Yeah.
Take the old Young Frankenstein line. Oh, goodness. All right, we'll take care of some business. We'll come back. Still pretty good amount of things to do here on this sleep-deprived edition, easy for me to say, of Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Stealing all the air out of my stories. I was getting ready to get there, and you just jump right in and snatch.
Oh, that's what you get for trashing Cena. It doesn't feel so good now, does it, Fearon?
Are you serious right now?
No, not really.
Okay.
I just feel like
Thank
being a
you.
jackwagon. And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Yeah, that works too. Especially when I do the same thing to Nick that Lucas did to me last week. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Nick Cataldi.
Yay!
Pushing buttons, turning dials, answering phones, keeping us on the air here on this payback weekend. Or something like that.
How come I don't get paid back? I've been getting paid back plenty, come to think of it. Never mind.
Well, that was, what, about 6? Well, I don't know. I figure it's been about 6 weeks since April 15th. Figure the tax refunds should be...
I got mine already.
You got yours already?
Oh.
Well, see, you got your payback then.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't much of one, but...
You know, I'd rather not get one. Because that usually means I made more money during the year.
Ah.
See, people don't... my wife and I had a disagreement about this, and I explained to her. She said, how come we didn't get money then? I said, because I made more money then. I had to pay in. I'm not complaining. I'm just simply telling you how my thing was set up. I would put money aside and I'd pay it, you know, because I was self-employed, mostly.
Welcome to Tax Tips with IRS.
Yeah, right.
Erwin R. Scheister.
Yeah, remember him?
Yeah, his sons are doing all right now. They're both in WWE.
Did he pass away? IRS?
No, he's...
I'm trying to think who passed. Okay, I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
No, he's still a...
Scheister. I almost literally fell down laughing on that one. That and Paul Bearer.
Now, Paul Bearer has passed.
I knew he passed.
Okay, you knew he passed. But no, IRS is or Mike Rotundo is a backstage agent for WWE, and obviously providing a lot of advice to both of his sons who are currently in WWE, Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
But neither one's their last name Scheister. I'm surprised.
No.
I'm always shocked.
Oh, this silly thing called kayfabe.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Bray Wyatt.
Here I thought Monsoon's real last name was Monsoon.
Well, his real last name started with an M.
Yeah, Morella. I asked a buddy of mine, what's his real first name? He goes, Gorilla. He was serious.
Gorilla Morella?
Yeah, Gorilla Morella. Yeah.
Anything
Anyway.
like McGilla Gorilla back in the day?
Actually, no one ever compared the two. One was funny and one was a wrestler, you know what I mean? And he's a grunt. He didn't really speak English for a while there.
Ah, okay.
Gorilla Monsoon. Then all of a sudden he had perfect command of the language. You know?
It just took a little while to develop.
You think there was like a bit of a shock there, you know?
And then by the 80s, he's using fancy terms like external occipital protuberance.
Yeah. And he's on the
Better known as the back of the head.
Right, exactly. Anyway, enough of him.
All right, let's get to Ed, who's been hanging on. Ed from Northeast Philly. What's going on, Ed?
Good afternoon. How was your holiday weekend?
There was some picnicking and some beverages and and a lot of munchkins. That's about it. I don't mean the Dunkin'
Not
Donuts
a food,
kind.
probably.
I tried to keep it in moderation.
Yeah, there's a good amount of shows coming in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Rahway with Supercard from the PWS and SLW. Summer Showdown in Rahway.
Okay, for folks a little bit closer to the New York area, closer to the Shore Points. That's
Yeah, speaking of Shore, there was one tonight at Jersey Shore Arena. All-Star Wrestling.
headed from the Northeast with a segue. I'm impressed. Well, speaking of
Nicole Bass, Tito Santana, Melissa Coates.
Oh, wow. Tito's going to be there.
Yeah. I can't picture this Melissa Coates. Was she in TNA?
I was going to say, the name isn't ringing an immediate bell with me either.
Maybe I heard it on the indie scene then.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar, but I can't picture her. And I'm on my way to get tickets for the two biggest shows in Philly.
Well, I was going to say, I'd hate to guess wrong as to which those two are. So by all means, go ahead and enlighten the audience here.
Yeah, Wrestling with Disaster and Hardcore. House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, yes. That's that's all coming up. Next week is the House of Hardcore at the Armory Guard over in Southampton, and I've got a whole paragraph on Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut. Obviously, I've been involved with it to a degree, talking with director Anthony Bruno, and Corey Castle's been in studio, as has the Pitbull Gary Wolf. You can check out those interviews. Go to YouTube and look up WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly.
And Fonzie's in town, too.
Oh, yes, that's right. I got of course, right after the show last week, I got an email from the Wells Fargo Center complex about that. Yes, Chris Jericho and his band Fozzy are going to be at Xfinity Live tonight. That's right, just outside the Wells Fargo Center, Citizens Bank Park, and whatnot. Part of the Xfinity Live Philadelphia Summer Concert Series. Buck Cherry with Chris Jericho's Fozzy. So Chris Jericho, they'll be opening for Buck Cherry tonight. And
do you know anything about the Bristol show for Triple WA?
Triple WA, yeah, they're going to be at the Firehouse, the Goodwill Fire Company next Saturday as well. So there's a lot to do. Yeah, you've got the House of Hardcore. You've got the
Nikolai Volkov's on that one too.
Nikolai, yeah, got the chance to meet him. Oh gosh, it was either a month or two ago when they were at Zerns. They're usually at Zerns all the way out in Gilbertsville, their home base.
Independent circuit.
I'm trying. It's not easy, to say the least. There's a lot going on, so I try to kind of.
It was stagnant for a while.
Well, I think a lot of. I guess the hesitance. I mean, after the nonsense with Extreme Rising, and then to the north, the Hardcore Road Trip, I think that soured a lot of people, myself included, because until I had to go through my credit card company, I was out $100. But in case I hadn't mentioned it on here, I did get that back from the credit card company. So,
any news on them?
Well, as far as I know, they're still on their respective milk cartons. No, I really have no idea.
No one knows anything.
No, and at this point, I'm sure they're doing the smart thing and just staying under the radar.
Yes.
Given their less than good Samaritan-like behavior, to say the least.
Yes.
Nick's giving me a look of confusion. Oh, no, okay. The wrestling promoters a couple months ago.
I'm just listening to you.
Okay. The wrestling promoters a couple months ago kind of collected for the events and then took the money and ran before doing the shows. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want any promoters.
Yeah, there's some of that kind of garbage that goes on.
Well, no, I mean, that's why you got to go with places that are reputable, and you've seen quite a few so far. I mean, Tommy Dreamer's promotions taking off rather nicely. Of course, the Monster Factory, they've been around for, going back to the 80s. The Triple WA, we mentioned, they'll be in Bristol next week. They've been around they just celebrated their 34-year celebration a couple weeks, or actually, I guess, a month or so ago now. So, I mean, there's a lot of great independent wrestling, and we're fortunate to have it here in the Philadelphia and tri-state area.
Yeah. I'll let you go.
All right. Thanks, Ed, so much. Appreciate the call, as always. Appreciate the look at the local scene. Never know what's going to happen. But, Ed mentioned Wrestling with Disaster. 2 weeks away from Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut. Your chance to be a part of history is the last filming for the Wrestling with Disaster documentary. You can do it by being in attendance. It starts with lights, camera, action, the autograph session from 3 to 6 p.m., and then, of course, Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut, the wrestling card being held in the 2300 Arena, formerly known as the ECW Arena, over on Swanson and Rittner in South Philly. That'll be from 7 to 10 o'clock, roughly. And then the That's a Wrap after party, where you can party with the stars of Wrestling with Disaster. And, yeah, I'll be there, too. Yay.
Hey.
There we go. To get your tickets for any of the events on Saturday, June 14th, go to WrestlingWithDisaster.com. Let me give you here's the updated card lineup. Bilvis Wesley taking on ECW alum Danny Doring. There's a triple threat match between Jimmy Jacked Cash, Luis Martinez, and Cryptic Keegan. I've heard some good things about Luis Martinez. I believe he's nicknamed the Punisher, if my memory serves me right. Although I'm sure if it doesn't, somebody will correct me on it. The Blue Meanie is going to be representing the BWO, the Blue World Order, in a 6-man tag team match against the Monster Factory. That's right. Members of the Monster Factory will be wrestling on the Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut card as well. Brutal Joe Gibson, the Monster Factory heavyweight champion. He'll be taking on Dr. Lamar Porter. Lance Anoa'i faces Corey Castle. You've got Angel Medina with Tony DeVito taking on Tyler Fullington with the Sandman. That's right. Tyler Fullington, the son of the Sandman from ECW. Feels like just yesterday he was involved in that angle with Raven where he ended up turning on his dad and at the ripe young age of 7 years old and joining Raven's flock. And now the little boy, all grown up in his mid-20s now, and he's going to be wrestling with dad at his side. Also, the franchise Shane Douglas going against the Pitbull Gary Wolf in a dog collar match. The Samoans taking on the Powers of Pain. You mentioned the Samoans earlier, Nick. They're going to be in the house for that. And then in a triple threat match, you've got Sabu, Too Cold Scorpio, and Alpha Jr. So a lot of Anoa'i representation.
He's not Samoan number 1 junior?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Not Samoan number 1 junior.
Okay.
Because then you'd have to get into like fractions, and it'd be a mess. Now, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check, but I believe you can also you can purchase tickets for Wrestling with Disaster tonight at the Monster Factory. Added incentive in case you're not that web savvy and just, or you just want to prefer dealing with things in person. I'm fairly certain, and I'm sure I'll get angry texts and tweets and everything else if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Anthony Bruno will be at the Monster Factory show tonight. And I'll find out in the next break. No, you idiot! No, I'm pretty sure he'll be there. But, yeah, definitely a good chance to check out some great wrestling with the Monster Factory and get your tickets. I know I'll be front and center, or front and close to center. Definitely front row. I think it's like seat 20-something on the old hard camera side. Not too far from where the old ECW hat guy would be for all those years. At least I think so. This will be my first time at the ECW arena, so it'll be a nice opportunity to check it out in person for myself. And for those of you who've either been there for quite a few occasions or never been there before like myself, this is certainly the event to go to, Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut. And again, you can check it all out at WrestlingWithDisaster.com. Good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff. And as if, oh man, the 14th is just, I'm going to have to I'll have to start getting sleep ahead of time or something, kind of stockpiling sleep, because this day is just going to be that jam-packed because of our friends over at George's Cards and Collectibles. Saturday, June 14th, along with all the stuff with Wrestling with Disaster, Val Venus makes his way to George's in the Oxford Valley Mall from noon to 2. So make your way over there, have us tuned in, WBCB1490.com or, on the car radio, and head on over to the mall to see the Big Valboski. from the Attitude Era days of the WWF. You can also check out George's 3 locations for all your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs. Their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, in the Oxford Valley Mall in the Sears Court on the lower level, and their newest location in the Chamonix Mall in the movie theater wing. For more info on the upcoming Val Venus appearance, give George's a call, 215-943-2475, or visit them on the web at georgescollectibles.com.
I got a Mr. Fuji doll. Does that count? Or figure?
A figure?
Mr. Fuji, one of my favorites.
Mr. Fuji, Hall of Famer.
I had a lot of them. I had George the Animal Steel. I had Hulk Hogan. I found them. Seriously. I think I gave them to my son.
They have a lot of stuff, both I guess, pre-utilized as well as
I like that word.
I just came up with it now.
I like that one. It's like, cars aren't used anymore. They're pre-owned.
Yeah, exactly. Pre-utilized.
Yeah, pre-utilized. I like that. That's a good one. That's semantics at its best,
Yeah, well, I don't know where. This is what happens when sleep deprivation occurs. Just the random things.
No, you're very creative when you're tired. I'm giving you some. What do you call it? Props, man.
It'll be a shame when I'm actually awake for a show. It'll just be a whole lot of
probably
nothing.
Boring,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay.
I have actually done shows tired or not feeling well where I felt really afterwards. I said, I did an excellent job,
Yeah.
Other days I walk in ready to go and make all kinds of mistakes and,
Yeah, ready to kick yourself.
Yeah, hate myself, carve up my arms and... Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Went to a very dark place there for a second. Oh, goodness.
When I was in training,
I'm afraid to see where this story is going.
No, okay. This is serious.
Okay.
I'll play pretty serious. I didn't carve my arms up on this one. But I guess I've been making mistakes. Now, it was like a simulated board and everything, Mm-hmm. And I made a handful of mistakes, and I was like really getting angry at myself. So I stormed out to get a smoke, and my instructor said, you can't do that when you're in radio. And without missing a beat, I said, I'm not in radio. I was like so angry at myself, I just sort of snapped at him. But he was right. You can't just walk out the room and go get a smoke and shut the whole thing down like I did,
Yeah, usually that's where you play American Pie or Rolling Stone, and then you take the 7-minute break.
I didn't even think to do that. I mean, I just got angry and just cut the tape off because we would record everything we did, and then we'd go over it, and you did kind of like a simulated show. But I mean, I just click and just walked away and grabbed a smoke and,
just like bleep this, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. And but his point was well taken. You can't just walk out when you get mad.
Yeah. You got to go with the Vince McMahon philosophy. Nothing can go wrong when it's live.
I like that, Vince. Anyway, back to the show.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we've had that little aside, John just going absolutely nuts on the Facebook fan page as always. Throwing in a rumor, WWE 2K15 may incorporate NXT into the game, the developmental segment. The new addition will be made to the career mode where the player will begin their journey toward the WWE title. Players must earn their stripes first in NXT to get the call up to the WWE main roster. E3 2014 is coming June 9th of this year. That's only a week or so away. Yeah, a week from Monday. So we'll have, with that coming very, very soon, we may have more information on the game then. That coming from WrestleZone.com on that rumor. And the other rumor, WWE 2K15, you're next, #Goldberg. Yeah, why not? I guess it's been a while. And that one, John, I'm going to save for during the commercial break. Well, it's in reference to you, Nick.
Did he badmouth me?
All right, you know what? We'll just... he didn't badmouth you, but...
he wishes I weren't...
He has a picture of Rodney Dangerfield, and it says, "Hey, everybody, we're all going to listen to Pro Wrestling Weekly. #yay, #Nick voice clip."
I get that once in a while. Seriously, I get Rodney Dangerfield once in a while. I used to get Elvis.
But do you get respect?
No, I don't want it.
You don't get no respect. Oh, you don't want respect?
I don't want it. What a crowd! What a crowd! No, I do hear that every now and again.
Oh, goodness. And Ron...
I always figure as long as I don't look like Rodney Dangerfield, I'm okay.
And Ron also chiming in, do you think Daniel Bryan will give up his belt to Stephanie? I'll have that as well as all the predictions certain to go wrong for Payback on the other side. We are late for our second time out, so we should take care of that.
I got Yogi Bear, too.
Yogi Bear?
My daughter once said I sounded like Yogi Bear. I don't know. On the air, this is.
Mr. Ranger isn't going to like this.
That's boo-boo.
Yeah, I know. Well, if you're Yogi, I got to...
That was very good, actually. I caught it right away,
There you go.
The Ranger,
Well, who else would say Mr. Ranger isn't going to like this?
You're right. You're right. You're very good at it. You're obviously practicing in your spare time.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's take care of some business. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, May 31. On this date in 1993, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. In the main event, Razor Ramon pinned Tony Roy. On this date in 1998, WWF held its Over the Edge pay-per-view. In the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin pinned Dude Love to retain the World Wrestling Federation Championship. On this date in 1999, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Houston, Texas. In the main event, Sting fought Rick Steiner to a no contest in a steel cage match. On this date in 2010, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Austin, Texas. In the main event, Evan Bourne and John Cena defeated Edge and Sheamus in a tag team match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, May 31.
I apologize for the dead air. That was my mistake. My fault.
Duly noted.
I should be beaten.
I don't know if we'll go that far.
Okay.
We'll do what we'll do what Stephanie did this past Monday to Brad Maddox. We'll bring Kane out to teach you a lesson.
How about get shoved down the steps here?
I can neither condone nor endorse that.
Didn't you ever see Richard Widmark in Kiss of Death?
I can't say that I have.
When he pushed that old lady down in the wheelchair? God, he's my hero. I always wanted to get pushed down the steps, or else push somebody on the steps. Go ahead. Stephanie, what's her face?
McMahon, yes. Yeah. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly. At least I thought it was. Here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Nick Stairs Cataldi and Fearon Derry here with you.
Stairs for stairs or stare becomes staring?
It could be a little from column A, a little from column B. Amazing how this works. All right, still have the Payback predictions certain to go wrong to give you, but first, before that, from Raw this past Monday, the contract signing between The Shield and Evolution. A little bit of a gag, a rib, an Easter egg, however you want to look at it, thrown in. As, WWE caught, somebody took a picture of the front page of the contract, and it says, WWE Payback, no-holds-barred elimination match. Let it be known that on this date, June 1st, 2014, in the city of Rosemont, state of Illinois, USA, the granting of a no-holds-barred elimination match. The contract will formally be signed by The Shield versus Evolution. Now, right underneath of it, it has, an addition, and this is where the joke comes in. It says, World Wrestling Entertainment is a creative genius. The whole creation of the universe was fashioned by his ever-toiling hands. All living mortals should praise his name and image.
Oh, God.
I wonder if the his in this case is Vince McMahon.
I got a feeling.
I'm a creative genius. Oh, Vinnie Mac.
I don't know.
I got a kick out of it.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. The problem is I think they believe it. Or maybe even believe it. Who knows?
Have no other gods before me.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the one I worry about.
All right. Before we get into that, CM Punk commentary. Punk commenting on, quote, being retired at 35. CM Punk was interviewed by Red Eye Chicago and was asked how it feels to be retired at age 35, among a bunch of other questions. The article was about the celebrating 100 years of Wrigley Field, Punk being a huge Chicago Cubs fan. Punk said, "It feels good. It's a lot easier when you hook up with organizations like the Cubs and being friends with some of the team members. It isn't hard to support their charities. Plus, I get to do fun stuff like bowl and paint chairs and play wiffle ball with Bill Murray."
I should have went into wrestling.
Yeah, apparently.
Well,
it was super fun and for a great cause. You've got athletes and actresses and musicians and all kinds of people painting chairs. I'm super happy to be a part of it.
All right. All right, CM.
Now, somehow I don't think that Punk will be checking out WWE Payback tomorrow night.
Why not?
Well, as he is also a huge Cubs fan, he is also a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan, and the Blackhawks defeated the Los Angeles Kings 4-3 last night to even the best-of-7 series at 3 games apiece. The decisive Game 7?
He will be watching.
Well, it's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, going head-to-head with WWE Payback, and both events are in Chicago. Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals is in Chicago at the
It will be a tough call,
United Center, whereas WWE Payback is at the Allstate Arena in suburban Rosemont.
I'm inclined to agree with him.
Yeah, somehow I think
if I were in that position, yeah.
Punk will be donning the red and black jersey and watching him some Hawks and Kings hockey action, as it were. Just a hunch.
Yeah.
Because of my obligations to WBCB and Pro Wrestling Weekly, I will not be checking out the hockey action.
I won't tell anybody what you're going. Oops. I'm sorry.
No, I'll be watching Payback. And leading into that, I have my predictions certain to go wrong. And they must be, because for the second time in a while, Lucas and I agree on every match. Now, whether they come to fruition or not, it's a whole other story. First of all, you've got El Torito and Hornswoggle.
El Torito.
That is the little masked bull wrestler. Little person.
I am so out of this anymore.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he accompanies Los Matadores to the ring, but it is a mini lucha libre wrestler in a bull costume.
Okay.
And he's taking on Hornswoggle, and this...
Does he sing Babalu?
No. Okay. No, he doesn't sing Babalu. Okay. I see what you did there. Now, this... Well, the official WWE wouldn't dare call it this, probably because they can't pronounce it, and I had a heck of a time trying to pronounce it earlier, but this technically is a luchas de apuesta. I still screwed it up.
Hey, do I have to hit the dump button?
No, you don't have to hit the dump button.
That's your language.
Luchas de apuestas match. Easy for me to say. That translates in Spanish to matches with wagers.
Oh, sure.
In this case, it's a hair versus mask match.
A what?
So if El Torito loses, he will take off his mask. If Hornswoggle loses, he'll get his head shaved.
Somehow I think El Torito's getting the better of this one. I mean...
And that is exactly what Lucas and I feel. El Torito, we think, is going to take this, and Hornswoggle is going to get his head shaved.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, the better end of the deal, you mean?
Yeah, just take off your mask. That's no big deal.
Well, in Mexico, the mask is like a huge symbol of pride, the whole mystery thing. I mean, it's all part of the lucha libre. Not to get into a whole, like, socio-cultural tangent, but... removing your mask in Mexico is like a huge deal.
Well, I guess I can understand the cultural thing.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, in the real world, the fair-mindedness of the whole thing. I don't know.
I guess.
I would want my hair cut off. You just take off your mask. Hey, mask man. Oh.
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys in Mexico, I mean, they run errands and everything else wearing the mask. Like, they never reveal their true identity underneath the mask, not even to their wives.
Oh, that must be kinky.
Oh, hell, we're moving on here. Rusev against Big E. Battle of big men that Vinnie Mac will love. Rusev crush. That's what I think. Rusev's going to win this one, despite all of the jingoism and patriotism and all that. Yeah, Rusev's going to win this one. the Bulgarian-Russian wrestler.
Another one?
Yeah, I know. Paige defending the Divas title against Alicia Fox.
I have a niece named Paige. Does that count?
Well, this Paige is British.
Mine isn't.
Yeah.
She's from Levittown.
Not too far from Croydon.
Not too far from Croydon at all, no.
We're going with Paige retaining the Divas title. Sheamus defending the U.S. title against Cesaro. I was on the fence on this one. Lucas is all about Sheamus. My gut's telling me Cesaro. My brain's telling me Sheamus. I'm going with my brain because my gut's usually wrong. So I'm going to go with Sheamus to win that one.
Your gut's usually wrong.
Yeah.
You got it backwards, son. Usually your stomach is the closest thing to an alarm clock. Seriously.
That explains why it's so noisy all the time.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I don't get any sleep.
No, it means that usually your stomach tells you the truth. That's honestly, usually.
Yeah. It's been wrong. It's been wrong more often than right. That's for sure.
Okay.
Bad News Barrett defending the Intercontinental title against Rob Van Dam. Good news for us Bad News fans. I think Bad News retains, as does Lucas.
Wasn't there what's another bad news in wrestling?
Bad News Allen, better known in the WWF as Bad News Brown.
Right.
Back in the he came out of the Stampede, Calgary Stampede.
My bad news mixed up because there was a bad news back in the 60s in basketball. Not Marvin Barnes, but Jim Barnes.
Ah.
And then Marvin Barnes came along, but he wasn't a real good bad news. He just, they just call him news. But anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I'm almost out of time.
I bet it's killing you.
Yeah. John Cena and Bray Wyatt in a last man standing match.
Original.
The wrestler that can't answer the 10 count and get back to his feet is the loser.
Go on, really?
I know. So there'll be a lot of counts to 9, and then the wrestler just barely getting up.
Come on, Fearon, you just gave it away.
I know. I'm sorry. Should I have been like Homer Simpson, get the air horn?
Yeah, right.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Well, we have a smart audience. I think they know a lot of things. I'm against my better judgment. I'm picking Cena to win.
What's that guy's name? John doesn't think I look like Rodney Dangerfield. I hope he did.
I don't know about look. Sound, though.
Good.
You got the sounds going.
I just hope he doesn't think. Let's find how smart he really is. Okay.
Oh, goodness. And finally, the Evolution against the Shield in a no-holds-barred elimination match. They're doing this Survivor Series style, but in early June as opposed to around Thanksgiving time, because that's when they usually do the elimination tag matches. I went back and forth on this all morning. I want to say the Shield, but I have a hunch it's going to be Evolution, and Lucas agrees with me on that. So there you go. Torito, Rusev, Paige, Sheamus, Bad News Barrett, Cena, and Evolution. Choose wisely. If you choose to go with those sites that take wagerings and things, do so with your head not over it. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yes, there are websites that take betting lines on WWE pay-per-view matches.
You're kidding.
I'm kidding you not. I could.
There are really betting lines in wrestling?
Yeah. If we had more time, I'd pull up the odds right now.
Okay, well, I want you next week, please. You know what? That was always my big argument years ago when people would say wrestling is on the level. And I would they would swear that sometimes it is. How's that? I would say, well, listen, just find me a betting line and I'll believe you. And usually that would end the conversation. Yeah, no,
that has become very popular in the last couple of years.
You have to be an idiot to bet. No, the reason, it's still, when you get right down to it, worth betting on. But considering it's not really truly a competitive match, that's what makes it a little tough. Now, if you're on the inside, for instance, if you wrote the script, you could clean up.
And that has been a trend as of late, has been heavy insider betting that usually comes in within the last 24 hours leading up to the pay-per-view,
right.
And that significantly sways the odds.
Well, this is worth more time, really, honestly. But we don't have it.
Yeah, I know we don't have it. We've got to make way for for country music here on WBCB.
And some news.
And some news as well. So we'll take care of that. Enjoy Payback tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you tonight at the Monster Factory. And we'll be back next week to talk more insanity, hilarity, and everything else here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fearless Hills, Trenton.